forward together.
Good morning. Have a good day, man.
When students can see what's possible here, they start believing in their future here.
One of the things that comes to mind for me, Stephen, when we're talking about our kids and the opportunities, college and career readiness, whether they want to go into the university system and do graduate work, or they may go straight into the workforce and industry. If that's what they wanted to do and they're prepared to do it, then I consider that a success.
We create these opportunities for these kids and they can understand, like, hey, I don't have to leave. Like, I can stay here, I can support my family, and I can thrive in the community that helped raise me.
All about the preparation, making sure they're ready to go, right?
That's exactly right. We're coming together in a way to provide opportunities for our students and our employers. They can have it all here.
That's right.
Great job, great education, great place to live, thrive, and work.
Our students are starting to see the opportunities that they can stay right here and get their high school education, get their college education, go into the career field, and then even continue education after that. And all this time, we're feeding and addressing the workforce needs of Northwest Georgia.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
We are giving students the opportunity here at a future beyond what they could ever imagine for themselves.
Workforce development is not just about filling jobs.
It's about investing in the long-term future of people and the community around them.
And that becomes the catalyst for how you build a future right here.
Everything starts with a place to call home. If people can't live here, the rest just doesn't work.
And that's why we're building a community where people want to live, work, and play. Opportunities like these move our community forward.
I've traveled various different states, and Dalton is the place I want to call home. I started my small business 3 years ago, and I realized that the more the community grows, the more opportunities we have, and we can thrive together.
As our community continues to grow, healthcare is such a vital component of that. We are fortunate to have the partnerships we have here in this community with our area schools and colleges that help us develop the workforce. This workforce is necessary in order to continue to provide the level of service we provide for not only today, but for into the future.
Good afternoon. Thank you all again for being here to continue to have the conversations about workforce and talent development and looking at the strategies to help move our community and our region forward.
And let's remember that this works because we all have a seat at the table.
For a long time, I thought moving forward meant leaving. I see a lot of people in our community coming together and investing in our future. And I know I can be who I want to be right here. Forward together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephanie Womack, and at the Chamber, I serve as the Chief Operating Officer and the Chief Talent Officer overseeing our workforce development and talent development work. I am excited today to have an incredible panel of speakers who you saw on the video to talk about what's going on in our community related to workforce and talent development. So first, before we get into our planned questions, I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. Yes, hi, my name is Sandy McKenzie. I serve as the president and CEO of Hamilton Medical Center, which is a part of Vitruvian Health.
Good morning. My name is Waylon Hasty. I did not realize how many people here I would know. So my Apple Watch is going bananas like I'm exercising. Owner and founder of Elite Lineman Training here in the area.
Good morning. My name is Ana Linares. I work for Engineer Floors. I'm the employment manager.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Denise Penley. I'm the principal at Southeast Whitfield High School.
Thank you all so much for being here. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with our first question. So first, what are you as employers telling us about what helps attract and retain talent? Sandy?
Sure, I'll start with that one. You know, I think in a community, you're looking at what are those key attributes that you're looking for, not only as an employer, but also as you're recruiting and retaining your own associates and employees. But you're looking for that growing, vibrant community. To me, it's something that people are investing in. They're wanting to put their homes here. What is the housing? Education. What is the system like around education in the community, both at the K through 12 and at the college level as well? But healthcare, other things. You know, people want a place that they can call their home. They want to bring their family here. They want it to be sustainable for their family for the long term. So I think there's so many of those pieces. It's the same things that we hear as we recruit, whether it's physicians, nurses, others, to come into this community as tell me about the community. What are the things that are happening? What are the partnerships in the community that will help my business? What is the workforce? What are we doing to help and grow and build that workforce? Yeah.
Thank you. So I think it has a lot to do with employers investing on our future, which is our youth. Getting in front of those students, showing them the career opportunities that we have here in town, letting them know that they don't have to leave, Dalton to have a career path. That comes with retention. I mean, retaining our youth here. And I mean, we just heard a young kid there, letting us know that he's proud of being here in Dalton, that he can find a career path here. So I think that's important for us employers, getting in front of the schools, creating partnerships so we can show them that they can stay here with us.
Thank you. So to that, we are lucky here in Greater Dalton that the Joint Development Authority, which is the economic development arm for Whitfield County, and the Chamber are under the same roof. So in your opinion, how are the JDA and the Chamber evolving workforce initiatives to meet those needs?
So I've been part of this community for a long time, and I have seen a lot of initiatives from the Chamber. But I want to talk to you guys about two specific initiatives that has helped Engineer Floors to bring talent to the company. One of them is Project Purpose. We've been part of Project Purpose for the last 3 years, and we've been very lucky to hire significant talent that are still employed with us. We just had Future Fest last week. We were part of that big event. We have about 3,000 kids, I think, that attended that event. And we hired someone from Future Fest. He engaged with our recruiters that were in the event. We got his information. He applied with us, and he's about to start with us next week. So I think that is very important, just being in front and showing them, again, the career opportunities that we offer here. 10 years ago, manufacturing was just fill a job, just a job. And now it's a career. So we want to show the students that we can start operating a machine, but you can move up within the company. You can move out within the field. I mean, I can speak from my experience. I started 11 years ago with Engineer Floors. I really didn't even know what I wanted to do, as a career. I didn't see manufacturing as a career. And now you have me here sitting, providing my thoughts. And that's what I want to do. That's one of my goals, getting in front of these kids and letting them hear from real experiences, from real people, not just from a presentation, but letting them know you can start here. You can build a family, a career, a future here in Dalton.
Would anyone else like to add to that question? Okay. Can't do better than Anna.
You can't do better than Anna on that one.
So thinking through, how are our K-12 post-secondary institutions and employers partnering differently than they did 10 years ago? Denise, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I think we've moved past random career days and guest speakers to a true workforce alignment. We have a shared responsibility between businesses and industry and education, and it's been fun to watch develop over the last few years. We have worked collaboratively together in that shared responsibility, and it's intentional movement and discussions. Some examples of things that we have utilized are the bus tours with Carl Campbell, and those are significant. They make a huge impact on students because it allows them to see what is available here in Dalton for them, whether they're going off to a technical college or to a four-year college, or if they're going straight to work. If you have a student who wants to be a chemist, but they don't know what that looks like in Dalton, those tours provide that, as well as helping students who know they want to go straight to work. It allows them to find out what is available to them immediately as soon as they graduate from high school. In addition to that, we have the Rising Professionals. That happens in October usually. In the last couple of years, it's been at Cross Point Church. It's a great event. Seniors participate in this event, and our work-based learning coordinators help plan that. And every senior completes an interest survey, and as they arrive to the church, they attend certain sessions that align with their interests, and it's very engaging for students. They ask questions. It's authentic. They learn through that experience what is available and what pathways to take to get to their goals.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sandy.
Sure. Just a couple of things. Of course, as we all work with our area schools and colleges, it's really the sooner we can get in front of those individuals, those students, to let them know there's different careers, regardless of the industry. I know so many people think if I'm going into healthcare, I'm either going to be a nurse, a doctor, but there are so many things. We need engineers. We need IT professionals. We need marketing professionals. So there's just so many things. And as Anna was talking about how she started in a career, sometimes you find your way and your path through that by having the opportunity to be exposed to different careers there as well.
Thank you. I think that's so critical. I mean, I remember probably when all of us were in school, I just kind of had 5 things that I wanted to be when I grew up. But it was people in my life who I saw. I never actually thought about all the different types of careers. And we talk about that. We oversee the Talent and Workforce Advisory Group at the Chamber, and that is education, all levels, K-12 and post-secondary, and our employers. And we're meeting on a quarterly basis, speaking about these things and really hearing from our students. We host panels and we do surveys to learn about what is their perspective. And we can't help change that perspective or influence that perspective if we're not all at the table together. So thank you so much. So next, thinking through newcomers, Elite Lineman has had a number of people not from our community go through that program. So Waylon, can you talk about how perceptions of Dalton have shifted among newcomers?
Similar to what Anna was talking about, being raised here, what was it like 10 years ago? What's it like to now? I've experienced that myself, but from an outsider's perspective, I was telling this panel earlier, we have some students that are enrolled right now from Washington State, from Vermont, from Maine, from Pennsylvania. And what's been incredible about that is over the last 7 years through that, not only have we got to see them, but we get to meet their families. And some of them will come here through our program, and they will dig their heels in. So I think the perception of that and what they like, they will move here. They'll move their families in this area. And what they like in that thing is I ask them, why are you staying here? They move from Illinois, they move from wherever. And they like this concept of like a small hometown feel. It's incredible to be in a room of people like this, to know that feel still exists. That's a huge shout out to like Greater Dalton. And in that, it moves over to like this concept of like, not only is that feel there, what we've done as a community for an outsider and what it looks like is the diversification of all the things around this town, right? These guys are going to play pickleball, they're going hiking, they're taking their family to different things. And that message really is not from me. That's from the students and the parents that don't live and are not from here in Dalton, and we get to hear that unique message. And it's an incredible shout out really to this room and the chamber.
I would like to add something to that. So years ago, Dalton was seen as just the carpet capital of the world. And don't get me wrong, that is very important. It's part of our history, and we should all feel proud of that. However, I feel like now we have a diverse community. I mean, we have different cultures, we have different languages, different food, and newcomers see that. They want to feel part of the community. They want to come to a place where they can belong, and feel supported by everybody. And I love seeing that. I mean, I walk downtown and I can choose any kind of restaurant that I want to eat, different type of foods. So I feel like that's important, just bringing different cultures to town, and I mean, that helps for us as well. When you start a new job and you're able to communicate with, different people in your language, I mean, that is very important for our community.
Thank you. And that rolls right into our next question. Talking about downtown, what does walkability, connectivity, and a strong downtown mean for our economic future?
Well, a healthy, active lifestyle is something we all need to strive towards. And the work that's happened in downtown Dalton over the last 10 years, to me, has just been remarkable. Having, as most of these other folks here, grown up in this area here and seeing what that has looked like over that time, the number of restaurants, all the different things, all of these things are just massive economic growth indicators for this community and this area. And it really just continues to help bring the growth. As you start to raise the bar, more people want to come and join. And the more you have to come and join is even better. But I want to talk about, too, some of the partnerships that, like what we have with Live Forward in our residency program. And also the Chamber has participated in one earlier this week when we're doing some walkabouts in the town. And it just gets people out. It gets them to see the town, whether it's in downtown, whether it's at Civitan Park or something. But those are the things that help bring a community together. It helps to connect its people, but also while it's promoting getting outdoors, doing the things that you need to do to help providing that self-care for yourself as well.
I would say one of the things in the downtown space is because we have a lot of guests, it's really an honor for us because we feel like a host of Dalton when we have graduation. So our training program runs in the quarters. So basically close to the end of each quarter, we'll have graduations. And those graduations are usually somewhere between 250 and 350 in attendance. And they're in stage 1, 2, 3 or the Wink Theater in town. And it's a cool opportunity for us to be able to host outsiders into what this group has built because they're all visitors and guests to our town. And it's really cool to see how that's went from, the whole construction piece to being able for our team to be able to kind of like throw our shoulders back and host people in here with the diversity and the meals and all the things to do downtown. And the feedback we get in that is like, don't change what you're doing or where you're doing it.
Thank you. I think that's really important. Believe Greater Dalton has some great social media if you don't follow them, but they have a Thursday 3 and then there is now a Friday 5 newsletter, and that is talking about all of the things we have to do. And when I first moved here almost 12 years ago, I'm not sure we could say every single night there are multiple things or multiple activities, festivals, things you can do with your families. And that is something all of us can be proud of. And those that are coming to work at our organizations or coming through training or going to our local colleges, there are things for them to do no matter your age or what you want to be a part of. Thank you. So thinking more than just things to do, people have to have a place to live if they want to be in our community. So what does housing choice across all stages of life matter for retention?
It means tremendous amount. So I'll give you a couple of statistics here. Of our 2,800 employees, 1,200 do not live in this community. So that just shows and to me, I equate being here in this community with retention. If you're here, if you work close to home, you're more than likely going to stay where you're at from an employment perspective. But just as another example, right at 6 years ago, we decided we were going to embark upon our own workforce development and creating and developing a residency program. That was vitally important to us because we knew in order for us to have the physicians of the future, we needed to take part and we needed to have a role in creating and identifying those physicians. One of the key things that came out of that in the beginning is we had to have a place for those young people to live because they need to live close to the hospital. They need to live in this community because of the shifts in the hours that they are working. And so a lot of folks say, well, why is Hamilton building apartments? Well, we're not, but we knew we had to have housing for those individuals. So we did find a developer to partner with, and they built that, and we leased that land to them. But that was vitally important. But today, there's 218 apartments there. 90% of those are occupied. So that just shows the impact of what that can have in this community as well. You know, another piece from that, while creating that workforce, of those residents, we have 11 of them still here in this community providing medical care. They are practicing medicine here in Dalton, at Hamilton, or at one of our access points in the community. And to me, that just speaks volumes. You get those people here, they're going to stay here. So to me, I equate housing to retention. I equate it to family stability, their career stability, all those things that we want them to do because, let's face it, our workforce is going to start dwindling and there's going to be fewer. So we've got to do the things we need to do to want to attract the workforce, but more importantly is once we get them here, to keep them here.
Would anyone else like to share? She did nail it. Okay, so what does Greater Dalton do exceptionally well that other communities may struggle with, in your opinion?
I would say one of the things is, again, this is outsider feedback for us, and I'm being just super frank and candid with the room. I can tell you, being born and raised here, I take it for granted. But we have an amazing amount of history, even outside of manufacturing, right here in Dalton. And we have people that come in all the time, and they'll be talking about the history of Tunnel Hill or the trains and the depot in downtown and those kind of things. And I think this community has done an amazing job of showing that, but I feel a little bit just, maybe convicted or odd to say that because it hasn't been a thing for me because I've not recognized it till I got to asking questions about this and what does it look like and what do we do well. And then I think it ties back to the concept of that investment of the hiking trails and different places. When I have students or parents of students that come to me that do not live here and they tell me about the different trail that they walk down and I'm going, where's that at? And then they give me a road name and I'm going, oh yeah, that's incredible. I know exactly where that's at and all that kind of stuff. So that's just me being super candid in the answer of that. But I think that's something that is done exceptionally well that I personally haven't realized until I've had the interaction with those guests that visit.
Can I add something? So, this right here, having different leaders sitting at the table and providing opinions, being part of the solutions, that is something that we don't see at every community. I'm very thankful that I've been invited to several meetings just to provide my opinion in the manufacturing side. And I see healthcare there, educators, I see other employers, that is very important because we do have a say on the, things that we're doing here in Dalton. So just having us here, providing your thoughts, that is something that I feel like Dalton does different.
I'll add one quick little thing here. While some may say, yes, we're a small town, but we're a mighty town. And the work and how people collaborate in this community, we're small enough that we know each other. We can get together. We can solve some of the situations and issues that come up. And I think that's what is so unique, but it's also what is the success of this community as well.
Just on the education side, I'd like to give a shout out to Project Purpose. I think Anna mentioned that earlier. It's a program I think we've been involved in for about 3 years where seniors graduate from high school and they apply to do Project Purpose and be a part of that. And They meet with business and industry people from around the community. They learn how to fill out write a resume, fill out an application, go through the interview process. They learn some of those soft skills, and a lot of them get hired after 2 weeks of intense training. That's a great thing for Dalton to have.
Thank you. To all of your point, I think what sets us apart is our collaboration. Like you mentioned, Sandy, we know each other. We know if I'm in a meeting with someone and they mention a need, I probably can think of 2 or 3 people who might be able to assist, whether that's time or just energy or just a listening ear. And that does set us apart from our conversations with chambers and professionals across the state and country. They always ask, how do you get competing employers to work together and sit in the same room? Because that sets us apart. But we are all focused. All of our employers that I've had the benefit of being in the room with, we're all focused on how do we succeed as a community, and that truly does set us apart. Okay, so our final question is, what gives you the most optimism about Greater Dalton's trajectory?
For me specifically, I think it's the partnerships that we have with the schools here in town. One of our goals this year for engineering floors is to change the stigma that it's out there about manufacturing. Manufacturing is not the same that it was 10 years ago. When I was in high school, we have this perspective that it was dirty, unsafe, and it's not like that anymore. So being able to partner with the schools and kind of get in front of those kids and show them that there is innovation, there is technology, there's careers, different type of careers. And that doesn't just benefit engineered floors. Benefits everybody, in this room, from the healthcare aspect as well, from education aspect. Just being able to have those partnerships and being welcome to schools and being able to be in front of these kids and talk to them. To me, that's what gets me very excited about, what's coming for us in the future.
It's exciting to see what has happened over the last 10 years as an educator, just going from just kind of random things and preparation to a more intentional process where business and industry and education are working in partnership.
I would say for me, the question is very personal for me. And what makes the question very personal to me is because I was born and raised right here. I went to Northwest High School. I graduated from Northwest High School. And whenever we had a meeting Monday preparing for this panel, Jason said there's going to be 360 people in the room. And I was like, I'm out. I am not interested in talking in front of all those people. But the most passionate thing about that is, having a high school education, working with my hands through a career, and having the ability to open and start and run my own business in this town is incredibly encouraging. It's incredibly encouraging. And I tell that story not to say, look at me. I tell that story, and the only reason that I told, Jason and Miss Stephanie that I would be willing to do this is hopefully that story would be hope for someone else, because if you want to do it, this is the place to do it. And that's where my optimism comes from.
And I would just say this room, to me, is the optimism, is to bring all of these different industries, all these different leaders together. That speaks volumes that this community wants to continue to thrive and to grow.
Thank you. And as our theme for today is Forward Together, we really can only grow and continue to be the great community that we are if we do it together. So thank you all so much. During this conversation, we've talked about a couple different workforce programs that the Chamber does have a hand in, partnering with a number of organizations represented in this room in our school systems. If you are interested in learning more about any of those, our Chamber staff is here, and we would be happy to sit down and have a conversation about getting you plugged in. One of those we've talked about a couple times is the Project Purpose program. As Denise said, this is intended for students who are graduating high school. And the program takes place the first 2 weeks of June. So directly after graduation, we're helping these students by doing professional development. We do financial literacy, leadership development, and then they are interviewing with companies for full-time jobs. It is one of our favorite programs that we started in partnership with the Joint Development Authority, and one that we have continued to grow every single year. And so I'm excited to show you our 2025 Project Purpose video. Again, if you'd like to learn more about it or get involved in our 2026 program, please let a chamber staff know. Let's give a round of applause to our panelists before we show our video.
Project Purpose, my first step into the real world.
Our future,
our path, our career begins here.
My grandparents used to tell me that Dalton wasn't a place of opportunity and that I needed to get out of here and move on. But through this program, I realized that they were wrong about this town, that there truly is a lot to be done here.
Our program is regarded as one of the best across the state and is known at the Southeast regional level and even nationally.
I didn't know there were this many opportunities in Dalton.
First 3 days was just learning.
It's taught me a lot about carrying myself professionally in a workplace.
What to wear, how to act, what to say.
How to build resumes, touring the different facilities, going into Shaw, Mohawk, Essentia.
Today is our shopping day for all of our Project Purpose students. We are going to interview with a bunch of different companies and hopefully get a job.
We have a full buggy full of all of their clothing so they can look their best, feel confident, and be ready to interview for those full-time jobs on Tuesday.
Before this program, I was nervous going into interviews. Now I'm going in there more confident because I know the things that are going to be asked and how to respond to those questions.
It's important that you show up and you be yourself, and at the end, you could walk away with a full-time job.
We've been wowed in one way or another just by the way that these students communicate.
You can tell they've taken the time to write down questions.
As opposed to students that aren't going through a program like this, these students are well prepared and ready to go when they come in the door.
Shaw,
Engineer Flooring,
Vitruvian Health,
Dalton Utility,
Q-Cells,
chose me
chose me to be the future.
Just be confident, believe in yourself.
After this program, your life is going to completely change. You're getting more than just a job out of this. You're getting an education into things that maybe school doesn't teach you.
There's been a lot of successful students that have come through this program. We're just happy to be a part of this initiative to help Dalton's young professionals.